Brain Drain by Michael Mathiesen and narrated by Michael Mathiesen. Antimatter Introduction. What you are about to read is both a love story and a science fiction adventure through an area of the universe with which you may already be familiar, but only on a subconscious level. You may not be familiar with antimatter on a personal level yet, but all of us, like it or not, have had encounters with an amount of antimatter that can vary from the tiniest specks to large clouds of it that hangs over your life for days, months, or even years. Antimatter is the opposite of the matter that we are all made of, in which the earth and the sun and everything we know is made of. Antimatter has the opposite charge of matter and the opposite spin, and so when antimatter and matter encounter each other, they both annihilate one another. As a science and science fiction author, my personal encounters with antimatter that impacted my life inspired me to write this book because I discovered in my research that antimatter has been the single greatest influencer of my life, bar none. Whenever you expect an outcome in life, say for hard work, patience, and dedication to the cause, and the fruits of that labor are denied to you, it's my opinion that it's not bad luck, but antimatter that got in the way of attaining your prize, the normal outcome from all that hard work, patience, and dedication. On a larger scale, whenever we humans enter into world wars and major economic debacles, we can almost always put this down to the impact of antimatter on our society as a whole, as well as on all individuals. Antimatter is so minute, so subtle, that it has never been recognized as the true cause of all the conflict, chaos, strife, and trouble in the world. And today, these things are at their zenith. Antimatter's impact is always on the subatomic level. However, in my earlier works, I think I have proven the fact that most, if not all of our thoughts, deeds, and actions all start out at the subatomic level. And this is where all problems with antimatter begin. This is complicated, yes, but in my book, you will understand completely everything I'm saying, or else put it down to antimatter that is following you around right now and causing the chaos in your mind that is frustrating your understanding. I've written this as a love story as a central part of this book because, as we all know, it's a very fine line that separates love from hate. It's so fine that it's less than a trillionth of a trillionth the diameter of a human hair. This is exactly the space in which antimatter is the most comfortable and the most effective, but its downfall is that it is exposed here at these levels. We only have to monitor our lives carefully to know its full impact. To put it simply, antimatter comes out of the anti-universe, and when it hits you, it produces the opposite events of what you expected, or the anti-universe, and there is no escape. But by the time you finish this book, I can practically guarantee that you will know how to recognize when you are in the proper universe and when antimatter is dragging you over to the other universe, the one that is not the one you expected, hoped for, dreamed about, or wanted. Chapter 1, Disconnected. Unless you've been living under a rock these last few years, you know all about the story of how and why I donated my brain to science. Sadly, many of you may be living under a rock, I think, because I'm finding far too many of you who can't remember or don't want to remember how it all got started in the first place and what became of me, or more importantly, what became of us. It's a complicated and mysterious story. Many myths have been created around these events, some true, some not so true. I believe everyone deserves to know the truth about how our planet almost came to a total extinction of all life forms who live here.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?